Hi and welcome to my channel. On the bench today we've got a Sony DA3000ES amplifier and it keeps going into protect mode. The codes that come up is protect 11 and protect 21. Now the way in which these codes are triggered is a little bit different. So if you have the amplifier on and you're listening at low volume, it'll play for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then eventually it'll give a protection code 11. If you switch it on and you start cranking up the volume, as soon as it goes above -15, it immediately triggers protect 21. Right. When I switched it on for the first time, what I noticed is that only one loudspeaker is playing. The left-hand side was playing, so I had a good idea where to start looking for the fault. But yeah, I'm going to take you to the inside and show you what I found so far. Okay, so here we have the insides of the amp. This is from the bottom. From the bottom you can access the pins for the output FETs as well as the drivers. So what I did to start with, let me just zoom in here. Right, that's better. So what I did is I started just to measure the voltages that I'm getting off of the different pins here. And as I was measuring, I found that the base voltage on this transistor or this MOSFET was non-existent. Right? Tracing where it's coming from this this driver here, and I started measuring and comparing the voltages to what the service manual says you're supposed to have. Now all the values on this driver was correct except for two, and that was pin 3 and pin 2. And if you look at what those pins are doing, one is through a capacitor coming into the chip and it's supposed to be around 11 volt, and that one was low. So from the one pin it's supposed to go through the capacitor and then you get the high voltage on the pin itself. On all the other channels the voltages were correct except for this one. Now it could be that there's something wrong with the capacitor and it's drawing it down to ground, causing the voltage to show low. So what I did was I had a couple of spare capacitors and I just removed this capacitor and replaced it with a new one, and problem was still there. So the other thing it could be was that it could be the chip itself, that the chip is damaged. And I tried getting a single unit bought, but unfortunately nothing available in South Africa and you can only buy it in a batch of 5. So my next best option to make sure that it's the chip itself, the driver chip, was to just swap it with one that's in a known working condition. So I took this one off and swapped it with the other channel. So the idea is if the fault follows the chip to the other channel, the chip is definitely faulty. If the fault does not follow the chip and it stays on this channel here, then I have to do some more fault tracing to see why there's low voltages here. I desoldered this one, swapped them over, switched on the amplifier, and immediately both speakers were playing at the same volume. I then started probing and checking the voltages again and found that this one is now the same as all the other chips. This one, although it's not a low voltage anymore, it's still lower than the rest. So it would appear that the heat when I took this off must have done something inside this chip, which has improved the situation a bit, but it has not corrected the situation. That being said, with the low voltage following the chip, I'm convinced that this chip is faulty, and I ordered a batch of 5. So to make sure that everything is batch matched, I am going to replace both front channels, all the driver chips. I've got 5, so I may just as well use 4. Right, I'm gonna pull out the SMD station. I'm not gonna show while I'm doing it. I'm sure you guys have seen SMD soldering videos a lot, but I'm going to do this, and after the repair we'll do a couple of tests and see how it's going. Okay, so here you can see that all 4 drivers for the front channel has been removed. So the next step, wick off all the old solder, put some flux and start soldering in the new ones. I'm also attaching a picture of the old and the new chips. The new chips were ordered from RS Components. It wasn't available locally, so it was imported. But yeah, got it through RS Components website, South Africa. Okay, so the chips are fitted. Time to get cleaning here. What I've got here is some isopropyl. I'm just going to give it a nice brush. First with a hard brush, toothbrush. Important to always brush your teeth. I'll just clean off some of the flux mess that I left. And with a softer brush, go over it again. And then finally, with some paper and my toothbrush, just make sure I get all of that flux off. Okay, so final piece on this amplifier. I checked all the voltages after replacing the chips. All the voltages were correct, so I let it play throughout the night in my garage. It was playing still this morning, so reassembled it, parked it in here in the living room. I'm going to be watching TV on it for about a week, make sure everything is a-okay. Currently, I'm just actually playing one of my own other videos. Everything's working and it doesn't go into protect over 20.
There you've got a power light and you've got stereo.
Let me just do this.
Neither of which is working at this point in time. Right.
Level.
As for the outputs, I tested on A and B outputs. It's
Left.
working, it's playing through
Right.
both sides.
Everything is working perfectly now.
Let's get to
And yeah, all good. Gonna let it play. I'm gonna use it for about a week. And yeah, it's connected to a pair of bookshelves that I'm busy building. Still busy tuning, so I haven't finished assembling them yet, but they should be done in the next week or so as well. Right, and there we go. I'm going to be playing music through the day, watching TV at night, using this amplifier. Great stuff. Everything's all good.